Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My name is Ace, and as you can see, I got another TF2 commentary. Once again, as promised, I would give you guys some full gameplay videos with these new weapons. So here we are with the Vaccinator, or the Vaccinator, or also known to be the new medigun that came with the Mecha update, or the Mecha patch, or the Christmas update, whatever you want to call it. It's one of the 3 new weapons, and it's a very confusing weapon. This is probably the most confusing weapon out of them all, because if you look on the screen right now, you can see there's a lot of white text trying to explain this medigun. But it's actually pretty simple once you get the hang of it. You basically are healing people, you get 10% damage reduction to a certain weapon type, as well as the person that you're healing. If you use an Uber, you will increase this reduction to 75%. And if somebody is attacking the person that you are healing with the weapon type that you are reducing, you will heal yourself as well with that, which is kind of neat. So how can you select your weapon type? Or what weapon types can you select? There's bullet, explosion and fire. And you can select these by using your special attack button, which is usually defaulted to mouse 3 or mouse 4. For me it was my middle mouse button. So you can try it out, otherwise look at the key bindings and you should be fairly alright with that. Now, as you also can see, you have 4 mini Ubers and they recharge pretty quickly, which is very nice to see. But I think that this weapon is actually pretty bad and really good at the same time. Now hear me out. All 3 mecha weapons are built with man versus machine in mind. If you look at the Rescue Ranger, it's basically because of the sentry busters, right? If you look at the loose cannon, it's the knockback effect, which is amazing. Now with this, it's the damage reduction. If you look at just pub play, which I'm doing right now, there's too many sources of damage, which is going to mess you up relatively horrible compared to what a stock medigun might be able to do for you if you time it right. So you might already find yourself at a disadvantage depending on what you're fighting. On top of that, this weapon forces you to be on the front lines, to be fighting with everyone, at least with your teammates. Normally a medic is supposed to be a little bit back, so in a somewhat of a safe position, so they can heal up, and at least they can heal up with you and go from there. This medigun forces you to be on the front line constantly. This is also the reason why it's a lot more dangerous, a lot more satisfying if you pull it off, but this is also why this weapon won't really work in actual competitive play, as far as my knowledge goes in that department, but don't take my word for that. So it sounds like it's a pretty bad weapon. But then if you take a look at man versus machine, it suddenly takes an entire big turn. In man versus machine, this weapon is the equivalent of a god. Think about it. Well, not in the early stages of man versus machine, but once your team gets upgrades, especially if you have a designated tank, if it were, like a heavy, and he upgrades his damage reduction. Just think about the actual damage reduction that you can obtain without diminishing return. It's above 100%, way above 100% once you pull the Uber and you have the right damage type. Now, of course, there will be some diminishing returns and there might be some tweaking being done in man versus machine from this point forward, but you can pretty much have a near invulnerable state a lot of the time for a specific damage type. Now, man versus machine waves usually come in a giant portion of one damage type, which allows you to casually change to that damage type and get the full benefit of it. Also, if somebody attacks your target that you are healing with the damage type, they're also healing. You will get healed by that. Now, if it's just one person shooting in, let's say, a pub, or 2 person shooting with that damage type, you don't get a lot of healing. In man versus machine, it's a completely different story. There's an army with the same damage type shooting at your target if you position yourself right. So you get a lot of healing. Put some damage reduction on that person, pull your Uber, trigger your Uber, and you are just invulnerable. It's really insane how high the numbers can get. I'm not sure what the exact stats are and how bad the diminishing return is, but this is a medigun that is purely designed for man versus machine, and I think that is the right thing for it as well, considering it's the Mecha update, isn't it? Anyway, let me know what you think about this weapon. I find it to be a lot of fun to use. Unfortunately, it's not as great as I want it to be in pubs. Nonetheless, it's great for man versus machine, and I will catch you guys next time. Take care.